to say is, drizzle, drizzle.
Cursed be the ground, for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
You can't win, you can't break even, and you can't get out of the game. People keep saying things are gonna change, but they look just like they stay the same. You're getting way over your head, and you only got yourself to blame. You can't win, child. Can't break even. Can't get out of the game. Yeah. I'm done with life, and it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. I'm done.
All right, you dusty Jermaine out there. What's going on? It looks like we got a full house already, almost. So Royal Priest is number 1. Look at Adric, you're getting beat. Adric number 2. Alex, what's going on? Rain Lab, what's going on? Leon, Twitter is going fucking crazy right now. Rarely pay any mind to Twitter, but damn, she ain't black. The rap god Nas said it. Okay. Mr. Suge to you. She black. Only a black woman have that kind of nerve. This was the plan all along, but Joe couldn't stay stable long enough for it to come to fruition. I doubt it was the plan. Really, she's not good enough to be president, which is why they couldn't hand it over to her. Get your dusty get your dusty ass to the polls. I heard that. Chef Mike's, they got what fresh hell is this? Ken seeing red. It is what it is, man. They set it up this way. Judas Lion, Ash B, what's going on? The Builder's Table, what's going on? In my humble opinion, she will not make it. No, I doubt that she will. She hasn't even started campaigning yet. I'm listening. What's going on? John Smith, Toya, what's happening? Prince, Shannon, what's going on? I said all of the Keishas really showing their asses, calling black men with hard R for saying they're not voting for Kamala. That date out rate will make Asian women look like a joke. That's true. Say very little. Appreciate you. Salute BGS in chat. Doesn't matter. Trump will win. The sisterhood will blame Jermaine when Kamala loses, or if Dems pick up someone else besides her. Sometimes being a dusty has its rewards. And to the dust we shall return. Inspired Truth, what's going on? Maestro, what's going on? I'm just gonna play a little something. I really don't have to bring the heat, man. We've already talked about Kamala quite a bit, and the dust will prevail. I heard that. Okay, and Greg, Matt, what's going on? Jermaine already being blamed. Oh, they were gonna blame. They blamed us before it even got started. Brooklyn's finest, what's going on? Q4, Michael, DJ Scan, Afro National, AB, what's happening? Carl Hudson, what's going on? Saint Seer, Paul Wilson, what's happening? Gabar. No, she's not gonna get mine either. Al. Michael L, what's going on? Age of the Machines, what's going on? Laveris, what's happening? Kelvin Davis, what's going on? Forever Blessed, Swift Battle, Laveris, Chef T, Pragmatic Prime, Philip Redden, Proud to be a Simp, what's happening? Willie R, what's going on? Shannon Green, Jamar Reed, Swift Battle, Calculated Risk, Kunguru, what's going on? Mr. Suge to you. It says 771 Golden. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce that one. Black women vote the same way black women vote. Why should they even bother? I don't know. Gone fishing. Well, black men are starting to separate. That's the problem. Mr. Supreme, Little Maple Leaf, Tony Smith, Elusive African, Pringles, what's going on? Valeri, what's happening? Titan Blooded, Joe's, Timothy, Silver Desperado, Deep Vermin, what's going on, man? Ain't seen you in a minute. Dead Set, what's up? It's more a royal flush than a four. Holy shit. I can't take you nowhere. Terra B 2002, what's going on? Guy Incognito, is Dr. Umar a tether? Sorry, no, he's a Philly boy. Okay. James Wingate, All-Star G, Tim For Real, the Geek Surgeon, Maestro. What's going on, Charles? It's interesting. We're going to throw out a line in the sand between feminists who really want to see the place burn, between men who want to hold this stuff together about a glue and nails. It's not even going to be that close. We're making all this fuss for nothing, really. She ain't going to win. White women going to vote for this lady? No. She's going to pretty much get handled. She couldn't even get 2% of the vote when she was campaigning in 2018. So, Damon, Obsidian Nomad, what's happening? LaShawn, what's going on? RC, I am Eric Hall, Dante, Judas Blues, Blacks Who Defy. Oh, getting everybody today. Henderson, what's going on? James Wingate, Silent Warrior, Darkman, the Gonzata Lifestyle. Okay. So I'm not here all the time, but I'm here today. Okay. The Builder's Table, what's happening? Guy D'Angelo, the Black Toxic Masculines. What on, bro? AL, Mike Love, Bo Johnson, Ninja Person, what's going on? Black men got their laceless boots, started walking. Keisha's mad that Becky and Maria gave us shoelaces and burlap sack. Oh, that's fucked up. Okay. G. Jones, what's going on? M. Lavo says that BGS, the women, told Reverend Jamal Bryant and our rappers to put black men back in the place to support Kamala. Some are not bred to lead men. You are. Hey, man, he getting paid. Ocean View Coffee Shop, what's going on? Supreme Pivot. And see what else we got. Scorpion Black. I think we said RC. Brother Truth Be Told. And Pharaoh, what's happening, man? Pharaoh down there in the Gynocracy Central. Eric Archer, what's going on? Barry Hamilton, Guy Incognito. KMS, what's going on, man? It's not the 90s, and I'm not Woody Brown. So I would be Poland. Y'all ain't shit. Age, let's see. Ag Deemer, I think that's it. Salute Sensei in chat. Hold on to your hats. The Dusty Drizzle King is cooking. It will be Jermaine's fault. Waffle Weave, what's going on? And Common Sense, okay? Not really gonna cook her. First thing, the reason we know she ain't gonna win, right? And this is why she dropped out the last time, right? People forget this. But it's what the internet never forgets, okay? Everybody remember this? Everybody remember that? Okay. And during the primary in her, okay, remember? Listen to this. That's why she's not going to win, especially running as a black person, right?
Bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but She put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris.
I want to bring the conversation back.
See, that's why she's not going to win. Okay. How's she gonna get past that? How's she gonna get past that? That's just the start of it, right? Because we remember that hell, she was putting mothers in jails, picking them up because the kid didn't go to school. She's doing all kind of crazy shit. You know, because Willie Brown was there to protect her, right, in California. Willie Brown's not in Washington, D.C. Talk about DEI hire. This is a DEI hire. That's why she's not going to win. You know, and like I said, she's not popular. She's not really accomplished, and even the white women say she's not likable. Even the white women say she's not likable. She's not a charismatic person. And cute only gets you so far when you're in politics, especially if you're in the mid-50s. Okay, cute went out a long time ago. She's a token. She's not even a token. Okay. She's people think that she's black when convenient. No, she's Indian when convenient, because I didn't know that she was even Indian, okay, until she got into the Senate. Because to me she was always black, because she ran as a black politician. So she's Indian when convenient. White women, Thanos is about to snap B-dubs out after the elections. They will ask black men to save them, but most of us are gone. That's why SBM and passport bros just run away. And split gem black women are already looking to trauma bond over her. Yeah, man. When you're starting to look, the end is near. The end is nigh. Okay, but as we did with Biden and as we did with Trump, we're gonna play our my favorite political analysts here, because they're unfiltered, okay, and you guys know who they are, right? Know who they are, okay? I like these guys is because they're they're in Washington D.C. Okay, that's number one. Number two, they're in a RT is giving them license to be unfiltered. Okay. I've been listening to these guys. Well, I've been listening to him for about 5 years. I've been listening to Rumble, and when they first started it, especially with the Ukraine thing, for about 3 years. Okay, about 2.5 years. Okay, and the reason I listen to them is because, especially during the Ukraine crisis, right? Because they weren't afraid to go against the press. Now, if the press was correct, they would agree with them. If they weren't, they would disagree with them. So, and they've taken hits for disagreeing with him, because he's lost like 4 hosts because of this program, because of what they say on this program. So this stuff is really unfiltered. So that's why I'm going to use them, and I'm gonna play off of them. Okay. I said I've been on them for about 5 years also, when they're not being censored. Yeah. Yeah. He had to leave YouTube, man, because YouTube was on his ass. But I know the pain. Hell's up, heels up, Harris. She went horizontal so we could go vertical. The campaign slogan writes themselves. So I can't keep you out. I'm trying to keep you out of trouble, man. Trying to keep you out of trouble. Black women only side with her because she's AKA. That's true. Because she's a black woman, man. You know, they side with her because she is a black woman. She acts black. She dated black. The only time she even dated outside of being black, when she married this Jewish dude, okay, which is a political marriage. I said, like bringer, darkness dreamer. Dims lives replacing black people with migrants. Thanks. We've talked about that. We've talked about that. Okay, but that we talked about why that is. The thing is, you keep saying they're doing it, these things you don't know why. Okay, we talked about that. Started talking about that back in November, I do believe. So you're on the late freight. Anyway, let's go ahead and tune this up. Let's play this at one. I think we play this at 1.25. Give it a little boost, and we'll get busy. Kamala is from the Brahmin class of India. Yeah, but she's Indian when convenient because most of her life she's been a black girl. Okay. Yeah, she did the same as Obama in marriage. Yeah, she married for convenience because Montel and Willie Brown, the other black guys that she was dating. Okay, she would. I've never seen her date an Indian dude. Let's put it that way.
2-521-1320. Your engagement helps makes the show.
Give me one if you can hear it.
But it is. Don't be shy. We will get to you as time permits. Joe Biden drops out. I want to point out, I did predict this last week. I did not know how Joe Biden could withstand all of these Democrats basically coming out saying he should get out the race. The whisper campaign with Obama, Axelrod, George Clooney coming out basically saying the same Joe Biden that I saw behind stage was the same Joe Biden was on the debate stage that night. I don't know how anyone could run a campaign.
Oppo says BGS black women are blaming Jermaine for her losing the race on Twitter. She hasn't lost yet. She hasn't even run yet. Want to see the thread in your DM or not worth the trouble? I might do that tomorrow, but it's not worth the trouble today. She hasn't even run yet. Let her run first before we start talking about what black women are actually saying.
Campaign where for 3 weeks or a month, you have to deal with withering assaults on your cognitive fitness for the job, with the American public over 70% saying, we don't believe you can continue to do the job. So Joe Biden steps down, and all sorts of questions now come up with who's going to take the mantle? Will it be Kamala Harris? Who are the delegates going to play for? Will they be somebody else that joins, throws their head into the ring? Can Kamala Harris win? What does it mean for the way that race?
How many dyed Indians have the last name Harris? Okay, and use the last name Harris. We didn't, like I said, we didn't know she was Indian until she started running for president.
Run, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Political chaos, and of course, we love it. To have a conversation, we're joined with Robert Hornak. Robert Hornak is political consultant, vice president of the Ronald Reagan Club, former executive director for the Queen's Harris Win. What does it mean for the way that races run, et cetera, et cetera?
And basically, and this is something I get tired of, man. I'm in California. Kamala Harris has been in politics for the last, say, 20 years. The shit that she's been running, right? We knew she dated Willie Brown. We knew she dated Montel Williams, among some other black guys, right? Okay. She got the last name Harris. Okay. She black. She been black. Okay. We didn't know she was Indian until, guess what? Until she started running for president. She's a cosplay Indian. Okay. Yeah, she does keep just like Mariah Carey. Okay. And when Mariah Carey tried to play cosplay white. Okay.
Etc. Political chaos, and of course, we love it. To have a conversation, we're joined with Robert Hornak. Robert Hornak is political consultant, vice president of the Ronald Reagan Club, former executive director for the Queen's GOP. And we're also joined with Misty Winston. Misty Winston is a political activist, organizer, and co-host of both the Misty Winston Show and Free Assange Vigils. You can follow Misty on Twitter at Sarcasm Stardust and the Misty Winston Show on TNT Radio. How you guys doing this morning? You doing all right?
Good morning. Very well. Thank you.
So big political news. Misty, let me start with you. Give me your take on this. Joe Biden is out. What does it mean for the race?
Yeah, well, I mean, as you both know, this is something I've been predicting for literally years.
Yeah.
I actually thought, I have a tweet from 2020 where I actually thought they were going to do this in 2020 after he secured the nomination. I thought he would have some sort of, his health is declining. Aren't we lucky we have Kamala Harris to lead us through?
Yeah, they would have if Kamala Harris was competent enough to lead the country and be presidential, which she is not. That's something something Soros should have checked before he actually pushed her up to be VP. She's not qualified to run the country. That's how come they tried. When they tried to give her little bitty things to actually do to get her presidential muscle up because she hadn't been in Washington D.C. that long, and it didn't work out. So we're stuck.
through this time. They didn't do it in 2020. I think the fact that COVID was around at the time and that gave them an opportunity to kind of hide Biden away for a couple years probably played into that. But it certainly has happened now. So yeah, this is not surprising to anybody who's really been paying any bit of attention. I think it's very interesting the swiftness with which the Democratic Party is falling in line with this.
Yes.
They didn't hold a Democratic primary to begin with, and now the idea that they're just going to hand the president or the nomination over to somebody who didn't earn a single vote in the primary on her own is very telling. And now all 50 Democratic Party state chairs have thrown their weight behind Vice President Kamala Harris. So it looks like
she didn't actually earn any primary votes. Okay, she's not competent.
She's actually going to be on the ticket, which is fascinating to me. And she's likely going to lose.
By the way, also lefties. If you remember, like lefties have been very weird in this. They immediately threw their support behind Joe Biden. So yeah, like AOC basically saying we're supporting Joe Biden. She did like an hour-long video about why.
Come on, she's not really left, Jamarl. Be real.
From the standpoint of lefty policy, of regards to what she says she wants, she's considered to be the left in the political space. They threw their fervent support behind Joe Biden, despite the fact it was obvious that the man was not altogether there, and that the American public had made a different choice. And even now, they seem to be throwing their support behind Kamala Harris almost immediately, as opposed to saying we want a convention. Let it play out in the convention. Get the strongest candidate. It's not.
They don't have a choice. It's too late to bring anybody else up. It's too late. I mean, I said that a month ago. It's either Biden. If Biden steps down, the only other person that can actually pull this off is Harris. You're out of options.
About a race. It's not about her gender. It's not about anything other than who is the strongest candidate, and let the convention basically play out in, I guess, a semblance of some kind of democratic order. Give me your take on the left on this. I found it to be very strange.
It is very strange, especially given the fact that we knew that people like Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, some of the biggest names in the neoliberal.
She's a black Oakland girl. That's what Kamala Harris is. She acts that way. Okay, she a black girl from Oakland. That's Kamala Harris. That's where she grew up. Okay.
Order were very quietly asking Biden to step aside. And so the idea that it was the so-called progressive politicians, we all know that they're not really progressive and or leftist, but that is the perception that they do carry in our political culture. So the idea that AOC went on Instagram Live late one night and was, we're sticking by Joe Biden. He's our nominee. How dare you? Talking about how everybody's so ageist. And then less than 24 hours later, she's back saying, I fully support Vice President Kamala Harris. I mean, the turnaround was swift. It was kind of crazy.
Body. It's like we support any warm body against.
And I've heard that. I heard a lot of Democrats say that any warm body against Trump is viable.
Donald Trump. Robert, Robert, give me your take on this. Welcome to the show, man. What is your thoughts of Biden stepping down, and what does this mean for the race? I mean, I would argue this is a permutation in the race. Whether she can beat Trump or not is, it's at the very least, it's somebody who can a warm body. Give me your take on the changeover.
Well.
And how this race has been altered.
The most important factor here, don't forget, is that she is a warm body that will now be able to raise money.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, in politics, money is king. And when the donors got together and said, sorry, Joe, we ain't giving you your campaign anymore. You ain't got to start winning.
Deep Verma is from California, okay? Kamala Harris has never been part of the Indian community, all right? Okay. She put on the makeup and she put on the sari, the clothing as cosplay, man. She ain't never lived a day in her life as an Indian, all right?
That was
such a good point. Because you're right. That was the death knell. That killed his campaign.
Like Misty said, this is no real shocker. The only shocker to me is that they finally got Joe to agree, because we were all saying this last summer that he's not up to the job. He's not. It was a sham. Whatever semblance of a primary they let go forward was a total sham. They had it set up so that they could control the replacement process further down in the chain of events. They didn't want an open primary where any candidate could potentially win. They wanted to keep Joe at the top of the ticket, raising money for as long as they could.
They're not raising money. Basically, they think it's money to have an agenda, okay? It's not about him raising money, okay?
Because back then the donors loved them, and they were giving them money hand over fist, right? Now it gets into the middle of 2024. The election's only months away. They finally go and say, listen.
Said, BGS bugging, try it again, okay? I am God. Try it again, okay? We'll get you out of here.
Joe, now's the time. We got to pull the ripcord on this one. We got to bail out. We got to come in with the new team. And Joe was like, sorry, guys, I ain't going, right? That was, I think, the biggest shocker of all, that he actually pushed back against them. And as of yesterday morning, his campaign people were on the morning shows going, absolutely not. He's in this till the end. And then 2 hours later, every whole world is blindsided. I think the only question is who wrote the letter? Did they tell Joe it was going out before or after it went out?
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, you can't run a campaign without money. And when they went to him and said, "Listen, Joe, nobody's given money," and I'm sure he called some of the donors, and they were like, "Sorry, can't be there for you this time around. Love you, guy, but my wallet's closed until somebody else takes over." That was when reality set in, because if you don't have money, you don't have a campaign. And they were going to not just lose the presidency, but they were going to get slaughtered down ballot across the country, and you were going to probably see a 1994-style takeover of Congress by the Republicans. And that's the way they don't have a campaign. And they were going to not just...
I think it is fake news. I don't think he's being intubated. I think he just can't campaign. They're trying to hide him. He conveniently got COVID.
Lose the presidency, but they were going to get slaughtered down ballot across the country, and you were going to probably see a 1994-style takeover of Congress by the Republicans. And that's the last thing they wanted.
So, Robert, so on the finances point, so we do have some new reporting in, thanks to our producer who was telling me in my ear right now that we see this is the beauty of live television. He's telling me in my ear right now, and I'm verifying okay, we do. So apparently in the last 24 hours, Kamala Harris has raised $46.7 million.
Wow.
How much of that, now I don't know how much of that is just general part of the general fundraising, or how much of that is in.
She didn't live life of an Indian. Basically, she would go back and look at her pictures when she was a little girl, right in Oakland. She was an Oakland black girl. Okay. And, you're not going to be an Indian in Oakland and look like her. Okay. You're going to get beat up. Okay.
Response to her heading the ticket at this point, but I wanted to just get your thoughts, because we're gonna go to that, but I wanted to just back up a bit just to get your thoughts on last week's convention.
Sure. I thought the Republicans pulled off an exceptionally strong convention. They projected unity. They projected a party that is sure of itself and knows where it's going, knows where it came from. There's no daylight whatsoever between Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and the entire base of the Republican Party now. They are completely unified and moving into November looking to win this thing.
Yeah.
I think it was a very successful event. I would expect to see maybe the typical 4, maybe 5-point bounce this week from the convention for Trump. But we'll see.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking it may be around 2, but I wanted to, because...
Oppo says, my bad, bitches, I meant losing. Not losing. She hasn't lost, but black women's are already positioning to blame Jermaine if she does. Sorry for the confusion. Well, they're going to do that anyway. So
now that Kamala Harris is in the race, and the point that I made, even over the weekend and this morning included, just doing media hits.
They're really not trying to blame you, trying to shame you right now. Okay. Shame, insults, guilt, and need to be right. Okay. They're trying to shame you right now. They'll blame you later.
Is that I don't think that Donald Trump, if you listen to what a lot of people are saying now, Trump wants Biden to run because Biden is easier to beat than a Kamala Harris. I don't think that factors into Trump's motivation at all. I think that Donald Trump wants Joe Biden to run because Donald Trump wants the rematch because Joe Biden beat him the last time. And I think almost all of Trump's motivation of wanting Biden to run is because he wants to be able to say that in the rematch, he beat him.
Okay. And Dell said the same thing, right? Okay. We're in California. We didn't know Kamala Harris was Indian until Kamala started running for the Senate. I didn't know she was Indian until she ran for president. Had no clue Kamala Harris was Indian, because she was always presents as black. Okay, she was always Willie Brown's jump off. She dated black guys. She's an AKA. She went to a HBCU. Okay, now all of a sudden, in the last 4 or 5 years, she's Indian. Okay, she's a black girl. Dale said the same thing. Dale is in Northern California, right? She running for all these offices in San Francisco, in the Bay Area. She never tell anybody that she's freaking Indian. Nobody guesses because she got the last name Harris. How many Indians have the last name Harris?
this time around. Or in this case, well, you won't have to say him, talking about Kamala Harris. But there are questions now about what the race looks like now that Kamala Harris is in the race. What type of race will the Democrats want? Where will they focus on? How will Republicans respond? I'm inclined to believe that race will be, race and gender will be an issue in this election cycle, similar to what it was in 2008 with Barack Obama, and how Republicans, more specifically, how Donald Trump responds to that will determine whether or not he wins the race.
And there's a lot more Indians now, okay, because you got to remember, Kamala Harris is, what, 57, okay? When she was a little girl back in the, when she was a girl back in the 70s, there wasn't a lot of Indians here, okay? There wasn't. You guys, after 2000, when after the what is it, Y2K problem, this one, most of the Indians came over here. Most of them came over after 2000. She was already grown.
But I wanted to play this clip, and we're going to try to get this. I want to play this clip as we're talking about how will Democrats mount this race, considering that Kamala is now in. And Joy-Ann Reid, I'm not sure if our audience, it seems as if we're paying Joy-Ann Reid clips pretty frequently now. Well, Joy-Ann Reid, this is before Biden's announcement. And Misty, I'm going to go with you first, but then to Robert, get your thoughts as well. But Joy-Ann Reid had thoughts about white people, I guess white men. She had thoughts about white supremacy.
She always does.
She always does. But she also had her thoughts on what people like me, who plan on voting for Donald Trump, black men. She has some thoughts on black men. Let's get that. Let's play that clip.
Seen this kind of election before. You see the same thing in Hungary. Like the Orbanism of the party it's rooted in returning white Christian men, but also white men and white adjacent men, black men, brown men who are like white adjacent in terms of trying to also be in that dominant position in society. And then you have women who are willing to go.
Yes. The builder's table, Kamala's a Decepticon. She's not like us. Enough said. Go Professor. Guess what, man? Okay. Ask the sisters that are up there, man. They didn't know she was Indian. Okay. Her hair was cut black. She wore black clothes. You listen to her. Well, talk. She sounded like a black woman. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. I don't know why we're arguing about it. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Go along with that, right? There are a certain number of women who are also willing to trad white.
So what she said at the end, she said women who are willing to go along with it. And the word that she used was trad wife. Well, as I did my...
What was the word?
Trad.
Okay.
Trad wife, yeah.
So I went and did my digging. I thought it was a bit...
Shout out to the manosphere, okay?
Seedier than...
Derogatory.
Well,
derogatory.
No. So trad wife is now the abbreviation. They use that as an abbreviation for traditional wife.
Yeah.
So that
it's
is
the
what
people you see on like Instagram and TikTok that are making everything from scratch and homeschooling their kids and deferring to their husbands and that type of a thing. That's all the trad wives are.
And Misty, you just go on, jump in there on the notion that, there are white adjacent black. No, of course you're not a black man.
That was amazing.
But there are white adjacent, and she's referring to like people like me.
By the way, women too, apparently.
Yeah.
White adjacent women.
But white adjacent black men. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Well, the way that she even phrased that was really nefarious because she's like, there are these white adjacent men who are seeking to reach power or whatever. And then the women who go along with that, as if women are just these go-alongs. You know what I mean? Like, so the way...
Call her one drop brew, She black, okay?
It was even, there was some sexism dripping in that statement that I don't even think she recognized. But yeah, the idea that, this is not surprising. She is a race hustler, right? This is no surprise. And I think that, but I do think that what we are going to see, and I honestly feel bad for black voters because the amount of gaslighting you are going to be subjected to over the next several months is going to be intense. I just tweeted about that this morning. We're already starting to see it. People are talking about that if you're black, especially black women, holy cow, the gaslighting is coming in hard for you. So that's what I think that we can expect to see. I think you're absolutely right. I think the Democratic Party is going to focus almost entirely on Project 2025 and race and gender. And that will be the entirety of the race. We will not be talking about any issues of substance. We won't be talking about Gaza. We won't be talking about healthcare. We won't be talking about the environment. We won't be talking about anything that actually means anything. It'll just be a bunch of really emotionally driven, hot button topics that they can, fling mud at
Now, Joy Reid is tether. Joy Reid is a bigger tether than Kamala Harris.
Each other, point fingers at each other, and distract the American public, and hopefully try to gaslight some people into supporting their candidate of choice. And that's what we're going to be dealing with for the next several months. And it's going to be awful.
Yeah, and Robert, I just wanted to get your thoughts on what we're talking about here. But in addition to that, how should Republicans respond? Because I do believe
Yeah, the Billis table, you're right. It doesn't matter because she ain't gonna win. I don't think she's winning is an L, gold P. Yeah, it doesn't matter,
That
baby.
there's going to be a very delicate dance that
I
Donald
don't know why we're debating what race she is. Okay, the black woman like her is because she, you know, she don't present, she acts, and she was raised that way. Okay, that's why she went to HBCU and in Hastings as a college. Okay, she black.
Trump specifically has to take. Now, Donald Trump, for to his credit, he has distanced himself from things like Project 2025, some of the more radical wings of the party. But
so a lot LOL brothers, people before 2020 were on a one drop rule. The sisters came in with colorism talk. Now brothers are no longer use one drop rule. Women rule, y'all. What the fuck you talking about, man?
he still embraces, for instance, the Charlie Kirks. The Charlie Kirks are, he's pushing now, he's Mr. Anti-DEI. Charlie Kirk is the very same person who decided that he was going to expose MLK's history. That's something that he was going to expose on Juneteenth. He's been behind a lot of the negative perceptions that people have of the Republican Party. Charlie Kirk, in an element that Donald Trump still embraces, have pushed things that even me as a Republican say that it has gone too far. Donald Trump is going to have to do that.
Leon, her mother's from Louisiana. Okay, her mother is from Louisiana, so her mother is American.
Delicate dance, not just with gender, but with race. I want to get your thoughts on me being the white adjacent black man, but also how should Republicans navigate this very delicate dance of race and gender that will be prominent in this election cycle? And I would say, for Republicans, you just can't say that those things don't matter. Yes, they do.
Sure. Look, these are issues that we're going to have to address, and Trump has been very good at dealing with these issues. He has repelled the slings and arrows that the left has launched at him, trying to paint him as a misogynist, as a racist, as whatever ist they want to throw his way. And he basically does it by looking right straight back at them and going, essentially, are you kidding me? And calling them out for just making this up, spinning it out of whole cloth. I mean, you can't just apply that label to every Republican and expect it to matter to the voters anymore, because at the end of the day, it really doesn't.
Well, I'd say
Trump just needs what?
No, I was just going to jump in there and say, and I'll give you a real life example of what I mean. And I mentioned it earlier in the show. So in Maryland, the recent Senate election, the Democratic Senate primary in Maryland, there were two candidates. David Trone is a current representative in Congress, and Angela Brooks is the county executive for Prince George's County, which essentially, for those who aren't in this area, let's say she's the mayor of the county, even though she's the county executive. Angela Brooks is a black woman, was trailing in the polls by double digits. David Trone is a very popular Democrat. He's been pushing a lot of diversity initiatives with his company because he owns a chain of liquor stores here. David Trone made the remark when describing, talking about Angela Brooks, he used the term jigaboo when what he was trying to say was a bugaboo. From that moment, this is a Democrat, things went downhill from there. Then he started criticizing Angela Brooks, and that was received in a state that voted for the Republican Larry Hogan. That was received by the electorate when he talked about her qualifications, that he was saying it because she was black. Well, he ended up losing, despite pouring millions into that race. He ends up losing by double digits, I believe by almost 14 points. And everyone now believes that race was indeed a factor. So I get your point that race may not matter to a number of Republicans, but we're talking about black people, minorities. It will matter. And how Donald Trump navigates this will be important. And if the Republicans feel as if they can ignore this, I direct them to Maryland's race as an example of what happens. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. And I just wanted to get your quick thoughts on that.
Yeah, look, when you make a slip of the tongue like that, That's bad. It's really bad. And it's really hard to come back from something like that, even when you profusely apologize. And even though Democrats are often allowed to apologize for those kind of slip-ups, where Republicans are not, according to the rules laid down by the mainstream media. So, yes, Trump obviously can't make those kinds of huge errors. But everything he says, yes, it will be filtered through a lens of race and sex. Like he says that third world countries are shipping rapists and murderers and criminals into our country, and the left loses their mind. And they go, oh, my God, he's a racist. Right? That's not a racist thing to say. That is an observation of what's actually going on in our country. If you doubt me, take a walk through east side of Midtown Manhattan, where there's tens of thousands of migrants hanging out.
Oh yeah, that is a problem because I've seen the photos, I've seen the video. Yeah, you did import a whole bunch of poor people back into the United States, especially from cartel states. Yeah, they're gonna bring that shit with them. Is what it is.
And go talk to the shop owners. Go talk to the people on the subway. Go talk to any average person that's had to go through that neighborhood and ask them how they feel about the level of crime that's taken place there in the last year or two.
And so
this is not
Festus. Okay, we're not gonna argue about this. Nobody in California knew that she was Indian until she ran for president because she never said shit. Okay, where are the pictures of growing up where she had a dot? Okay, where she went to school with a dot on her head. Because if she did, everybody would have marked her as Indian. There's no way you can get away from that. Did she wear a dot on her head when she was an AKA? Stop that shit, okay?
Something that they're making up.
And so I will agree with you. And for a while, I was going up to New York, it seems like every other week. And even in my conversations with business owners, and I think it's important to draw a distinction, unlike a lot of what the conversation is, I've been around the Port Authority. I've been around Penn Station, the train station, the bus authority. Those thousands of migrants simply aren't there in New York City. Now, they very well may do a very good job of moving them, but Manhattan is safe. I've been on the train. So there's a perception that doesn't necessarily, I understand politically why it works, but it doesn't necessarily match reality. But Misty, I wanted to get your thoughts on what Robert said about how much race and gender will factor into this election and Donald Trump's and the Republicans' ability to navigate that. I think it's going to be more of an issue, but
for sure. There's no question about it. Listen, that is going to be the prevailing narrative. It is unavoidable now. That is just the reality of this election at this point. And I think that it was always going to play a role. I think that it always is going to play a role, in particular when you have a candidate like Donald Trump, who has a tendency. Listen, this is the problem that Donald Trump is going to have. The dude has no gift for subtlety. He just says things he's not supposed to say out loud. He's done it numerous times. We're going to go steal their oil, stuff like that. He does it on a regular basis. He doesn't have the ability to know when to stop talking. And so he is going to have to really watch himself, because they are going to take any and every opportunity, every slip of the tongue, every wrong move that he makes. They are going to amplify that by 10 million. It will be the topic of conversation all day long on every news channel.
If you listen to her talk, she talks just like him.
Except for Fox News. And so that is the situation that they are now in. They are going to have a tremendous amount of trouble trying to monitor him, making sure that he's not flying off script, that like he so often likes to do. And I think that really, in terms of the tribes, like the hardcore Democrat and the hardcore Republican, it makes no difference whatsoever. There is nothing that Donald Trump can do that can shift a vote blue, no matter who voter. There's nothing that Donald Trump can do that can shift a hardcore MAGA. So I think that
we're not saying what she is or what she isn't, okay? Okay, as far as culture is concerned, she's black. Okay, you don't go to HBCU and play AKA unless you're black. And guess what? The sisters accepted her because she's black. She acts just like them.
Those two camps are very solid, but there are a lot of people who are undecided. There are a lot of people who are sitting on the fence, and in particular, a lot of black voters who aren't really sure. And now that Kamala Harris is a candidate, that shifts things a little bit, at least in the general population's perspective. So that is the situation that Donald Trump is in right now. And he's going to have to make a lot of effort and take great pains to really be careful about the things that he says, the insults that he comes up with, the nicknames that he throws upon Kamala Harris. All of that stuff is going to be a massive factor. And there are numerous opportunities that he could step on a landmine.
Agree. He should stay away from the racial stuff in general. I mean, like when Obama ran.
He should try.
Yeah, he should try.
He should try. And
he should try.
Yeah. When Obama ran with this idea of, I can run as a candidate who just so happens to be black.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that sense from Kamala Harris.
Oh, because it won't. No. It's not a winning strategy for her.
Yeah.
It can't just be, I just happen to be black, because
it's part of the message.
It's part of the message, and not in the same way I would even argue, not even the same way that we have with a lot of these other firsts, that it will be central to the campaign because the accusation against Donald Trump is that he is a racist.
He's racist, right?
You cannot conduct a campaign accusing Donald Trump and Republicans of being racist without race being a huge factor in the campaign. Donald Trump can navigate this. I know that because Donald Trump navigated gender when it came to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Barack Obama navigated gender when it came to Hillary Clinton, despite the fact that Geraldine Ferraro and many others were accusing him. People forget Barack Obama was accused of being sexist because in one of those debates with Hillary Clinton, he held Hillary Clinton's chair.
Well, that's normal for the manosphere. Basically, they don't get the important shit until later. Okay, that's normal about them caring about whether she's black or not, FBA or not, blah blah blah. The black one actually riding for her. They threatened to upset the whole convention behind her. That's her. That's black women. Okay, because she one of them.
Here and allowed her to sit down. That was seen as an act of sexism.
You know, they said the same about Sanders, right?
Yes.
Sanders, because he had the temerity to get into the race, that he was being sexist against Hillary Clinton.
He was stopping a woman.
Right,
yes.
he was stopping a woman. And they pointed out, well, isn't she also stopping the Jewish candidate from
They tried numerous times.
Yeah.
They tried. Elizabeth Warren called him a sexist on stage.
Oh,
on Hot
she
Mic.
called him also. Oh, man. She
But this goes to my point, though, Jamal, that I do believe it will be a potent issue. Yeah. And while Republicans, and I will repeat it over and over again, for us, well, no one cares about these things.
Other than mine,
yes,
they think that.
They do care about these things, and we've seen it too many times. And I think that Republicans can, for one, and I want to get your thoughts on it, Republicans can get too bullish in this assumption that, well, of course, Donald Trump is going to beat Kamala Harris. I think at this point, it is Donald Trump's election to lose. And if he loses, it won't be on policy. It won't be on any of that. It will be because Donald Trump stepped into it. He got in his own way, and that will be either along race or gender. Honestly, if Donald Trump is in this election and it becomes amplified, he says things. For instance, if Donald Trump goes down to DEI, which is what Matt Walsh is already talking about, Kamala Harris being the DEI. If Donald Trump goes down that road.
Yeah, she is the DEI. Let's be clear about it. She is that. Okay.
He's going to be branded as racist.
Yes.
And they're going to basically shape that based on him. The same way that Joe Biden was considered to be mentally not capable and the debate cemented the thing. No, I agree with you. Look, if I was Trump, I wouldn't bring up the fact that she's a woman or that she's a person of color. I would run the race purely from the standpoint of rando Democrat, and I'm running against rando Democrat. If she wants to make race a central thesis to her campaign, God bless, good luck. With that, I kind of agree with Obama.
What else can they? Like, what do you think should be their strategy?
If it was me, I would take from the Republican playbook. I would say they got their Project 2025. I am a new candidate.
Okay. She's not able. She won't do anything that's for black people. That's what she said out of her mouth. No vote. I don't even know why it's important that she is FBA. Okay, I really don't. Why is it important? Why is it important whether she's FBA or not? I don't care if she's literally white. Okay, with freckles and red hair. At this point, really don't care. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's DEI. And she was a diversity hire by Biden.
I have a new mandate and strategy for what I want to do as Kamala Harris. I understand that Biden was whatever. I'm going to be this, and to reintroduce herself to the American public with a platform that she wants to put forward. Meaning, because I don't know another way to do it. Otherwise, you are firmly under the context of Joe Biden, who was a failed president. And you're stuck with that unless you can somehow distinguish yourself as something else.
And Robert, so I'll bring you in here. Say basically the same question as far as navigate. How does Kamala Harris navigate criticism or distancing herself from Biden? Because Jamal is right. She's going to have to establish herself in a different way. The problem, though, Robert, which is I think is the challenge with her navigating this, is that distance will invariably, well, I can tell you, that distance will be represented for people like me who do this stuff as a criticism of Joe Biden. So anytime she distances herself from Joe Biden, be rest assured, I'm going to say, see, she's critical of Joe Biden. I'm going to use it over and over again. But I'm going to hit her over and over again. Even if I agree, I'm going to hit her over.
I think she was, Biden took her is because one of his biggest donors is probably Soros. And with all the BLM stuff that Soros backed, I think Kamala was his girl. That's why. That would be my opinion.
Over and over, because that's the political thing. But Robert, how does Kamala Harris navigate distancing, like establishing a name for herself while distancing herself from Joe Biden and his policies, because she literally is the number two.
This is going to be her biggest challenge, maybe her biggest problem, because she cannot separate herself from all of the failures of the Biden administration, because she was right there by his side through all of this, and she cannot separate herself from the fact that she engaged in the cover-up of Joe's health, because she was right there by his side through all of this. So she knew what was going on and how the American people were being deceived. The biggest problem, though, that she has is that she doesn't have any achievements of her own to show, right? So Republicans can go out there and say, well, she says she's going to do something, but take a look at her performance on the border, right? She was the border czar. And they just keep pointing fingers at her, going, border czar, right? And hanging that failure around her neck. So she's got all of the failure of the Biden administration, no achievement. I mean, Biden was out there saying, well, I signed more useless, meaningless legislation than any other president in 4 years. Well, congratulations for knowing how to sign your name, Joe. But she can't say that, right? She was not the person that put her signature on those bills. She did not, do whatever the magic.
And since it's time to promote and repost Dr. Tiersan Johnson's 18-point Black political agenda, we have to be prepared to speak on it too if they want our votes. That's true. Biden doesn't have to clean his hands. Let's put it this way. He never did.
Figures that they're claiming he did with the infrastructure. So she's got nothing to run on other than race and sex and labeling Donald Trump as a felon and just an evil existential threat to our very existence. So that's going to be the campaign. She can talk about her ideas and she can talk about the things that she wants to do, but then Trump is going to go, well, she's a proven failure and I'm a proven success. And here was my record for my term in office. And here's all the jobs I created. And here's all the policies I passed. And here's we got hit with COVID. And here's the shot that I got that developed in record time.
Oh,
that
Robert,
came out
I think
by
you're
November,
yada-yadaing over a lot. I think you're yada-yadaing over a lot. Because look, the reality of it is you can't have it both ways. Yes, you can't say she's a failure if she doesn't have any accomplishments. It just means she doesn't have any accomplishments to fail at. She's a VP, meaning she's going to be something fundamentally different than Joe Biden potentially. At the very least, she could introduce herself to something different, just like Donald Trump could introduce himself to something different after he gets shot. I mean, she can come out and say, I am so-and-so. Now, again, comes people like Malik can hit her if they want to, if she's trying to create space. But again, she is something fundamentally different, meaning at the very least, she should cast herself as, this is who I am to the American public. She can shape that, whatever she wants. Now, you can hit her or whatever, in any way you want to hit her, but she will get the potential or the opportunity to represent herself and shape what she wants the American public to see her as. And that could be something different. And I would argue it should be something different. Misty, I want to get your take on this. Is there any way for her to get you back? Meaning, is there any way for Kamala Harris? Wait, real quick. If Kamala Harris comes out and says, look, the Democratic Party has a problem, and we need to change how we are engaging with the American public. And I, Kamala Harris, have a new contract with America. And she gives a speech where she explains exactly what she wants. Whether you agree with it or disagree with it, but she says,
and she needs to hire you then, because she's gonna flub it. I guarantee you, it's gonna blow up in her face. She's not that person. Let's put it that way.
Well, this is what I believe we should represent and what I stand for, and this is what I want to accomplish as your president. With that,
would she get me back? No. Would she get some people? Potentially. But what you just said therein lies the problem, is she's going to have to give a speech, and she is distinctly unlikable. This is not a new situation. She had to
say it again, white girl. She's distinctly unlikable. And has been, I've been saying that for a while. Okay. It's a white girl saying it, right?
Drop out of the primary before her home state because she was going to get completely obliterated.
Tulsi ate her alive. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Tulsi Gabbard ate her alive. Donald Trump's going to be able to use these things against her to eat her alive. There are numerous things in Kamala Harris's closet that that can be used against her, that can be weaponized against her. And then you add on to the fact that she is so distinctly unlikable, and that she isn't a great speaker. She's not a great politician. Yeah. She giggles at really awkward moments.
Yeah, exactly. She's not a great politician. Okay. She's a follower, right? Yeah. Okay. Really, she's a follower. I don't think she's ever stood on her own 2 feet. She's always had men to help her, but I don't think anybody's gonna help her out right now. She's on her own.
And she speaks in word salad, and she's not a gifted politician. So do I think that she has the opportunity to distance herself and present herself in a new light? Sure. Is she going to be able to accomplish that? I don't think so. I don't think she has that ability or that gift. And I think that that's going to be her hurdle. That's going to be her, the biggest issue that she faces.
I agree. And that's now what she just said in a nutshell is the reason I don't think she has a shot. And I think, we might do JD Vance tomorrow because somebody sent me a clip of Forbes, right, where Forbes talked about him, the stuff that he said on the Senate, right. Dude is sharp, okay. The dude is tax sharp. He would eat her alive. He would eat Kamala Harris alive. It's better that she's got Trump rather than JD Vance. JD Vance will cut her to shreds. We might do him tomorrow.
Is presenting herself to the American public in a way that makes her likable, because people just don't get her. They don't like her. And even people who are vote blue no matter who people. I mean, as you saw, there were a lot of people were upset because they just don't want Kamala Harris. They were okay with voting for Joe Biden's corpse if it meant we didn't have Kamala Harris.
I mean, the other thing is kind of what you're pointing out, that they think she's going to lose. I mean, keep in mind that political logic up to this point was she can't win. And that she whatever Joe Biden's polling was, that she was.
I said the white girl says she can't win. Nobody believes that she can win. You know, but the thing is, at this point, they have no choice. Kamala tried to create that organization to monitor how men speak about women online and prosecute them. It's coming back as soon as she wins, okay? She's not going to win. No one should harass anyone, but she cares about one group. Kamala, I don't know if Kamala Harris cares about anybody. I really don't. That's just me.
Worse in the polling. And in fact, Axios had even came out today to point it out. Part of the reason that they took so long is because they doubted that she could basically. Now, I think they're lying about this. I think part of this was Joe Biden's ego, but whatever. They're trying to say that basically they didn't think that she could win. And because they didn't think she could win, they wanted to keep going and basically wedge her in the office. Also, I want to point something else out. If you remember, and Robert, I go to you on this, and even Malik, Joe Biden started off his race saying, I'm a transitional candidate, meaning I am only getting in order to make a pathway for the new generation of politicians. Ideally, you would think that new pathway was going to be with Kamala Harris. By the same token, over the course of the administration, she got a lot of criticism for not being good. Now, being good as a VP, I guess I would look.
Exactly. That's what he's saying. That's what I said. She wasn't good at being a VP. How's she going to be good at being a president? Thing is, she's not good. You know, people, that's why I said, has she spoken yet? Let her run, you know, let her run. Let her see what she can do. She may surprise us. I don't think so, but she may surprise us. If she can actually be good, she has a shot. But I haven't seen it. All her campaign speeches I've seen, I haven't seen it. Okay.
Back to Joe Biden, even a Dick Cheney, for people may hate Dick Cheney, but nobody can say that he was a weak VP. She has not been able to distinguish herself in a way that has been to her and has been to her detriment. Even the backbiting that has been taking place between the Biden administration staff and the Kamala Harris staff, it has not necessarily put her in a good light. So, Robert, from your point of view, and backing up what Malik was saying, how does Trump run against her? Because the reality of it is, I think Trump wanted to run against Biden. For one, I agree with Malik, he wanted a rematch, but more to the point, Biden was a diminished, weakened person who I would imagine he was gearing up to run against for the last 3 years. And now there's a permutation in this race that I would argue is unpredictable from where we are now. But give me your take on this. What is the difference in running against her versus Biden? Or is there a difference?
Well, she is incredibly unlikable.
Yes.
Not only was there fighting between the presidential staff and the vice presidential staff, there was fighting between Kamala Harris and her own staff. That was very high profile. That's right. She got into a physical altercation, if I recall correctly, with one of her Secret Service agents. There was all kinds of craziness going on there. But here's the one thing that
don't that sound like a sister? Physical altercation with your Secret Service agent? I'm just saying. If she ain't a sister, she sound like one. President Clymer. I agree with that.
I think is going to be really, really interesting in this race. And the one dichotomy that I hope that Trump really pounces on. Because Kamala Harris's record has never really been fully dissected in the terms of a national campaign. And they're going to go back now and they're going to relook at everything, especially her time as Attorney General of California. And they're going to be able to point out one really incredible thing. And that's that she put away more black men in prison for things that were arguably lower level crimes than they should have been punished for, while Trump, as president, signed one of the most significant criminal justice reform pieces of legislation in modern American history. Now, if you want to talk about race and things along those lines, who is better for a black?
Yeah, that's why I played Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard at the very beginning talked about how she put a lot of so many black guys in jail for marijuana, and then held them there as cheap labor. After they after the sentences were up. So yeah, she got a lot of shady shit that she did in Cali. So it is what it is.
Men and keeping them out of prison and giving them a real opportunity to rehabilitate themselves than President Trump, as opposed to what Kamala Harris's history has been.
I love this. The war for black men.
I think it's going to be a huge issue.
The war for black men and adjacent black men, according to Troy Reed. Black men adjacent or proximity to whiteness. That's the other thing. They have a bee in their bonnet about people who don't vote Democrat, and the language is basically conformed to people who don't vote Democrat.
Yes, it isn't. As I continue to say, this isn't a policy difference.
Well, a normal person doesn't talk that way. Like that is purely a relational conversation. It's not.
Yes. And in fact, Misty and Robert, we're going to let you guys. Yeah, we're actually going to let you guys go. Robert Hornak is a political consultant, vice president of the Ronald Reagan Club, and former executive director of Queens GOP. And Misty Winston is a political activist, organizer, and co-host of both the Misty Winston Show and Free Assange Vigils. You can follow Misty on Twitter at Sarcasm Stardust and the Misty Winston Show on TNT Radio. And by the way, Assange is now free.
White adjacent.
Yes, so white adjacent black men.
That is so.
And the reason that we are white adjacent black men,
it's making it sound sycophanish.
Yes, that is what it is.
The sycophants who are working with the Republican Party. It's the same commentary.
The tokens, the Uncle Toms, all of that.
Just different language. It's
white.
It's saying DEI.
That is literally what it is. Yeah. And so it is impossible for anyone not to share their view. And again, this is after Joe Biden and his "you ain't black" comments, all of this condemnation against black people, specifically black men. I think that this will be the election cycle where it is an inflection point, not a shift, not a huge shift, but these type of comments, because black men, they're going to be trailing in support, in support of Kamala Harris. Right. And black women, Joy Reid is representative of how black women feel. And they will do this over and over. They are going to
say it again, black man. Say it again. Say it again. They're gonna call us white adjacent. Something Pauli Murray tried to say back in the day, right? And it's something that the feminists tried to say that back in the day, black men wanted to be white adjacent. Something that Sojourner Truth tried to say with that "Ain't I a Woman" speech, right? Okay, that they thought that black men would become white men if they got the vote. This is an old trope.
To throw black men dig a hole and throw us under the bus, and it's going to impact this election in a way that they don't anticipate.
I would say that they better be careful on how hard they hit that bell.
They go hit hard,
because it will be radioactive. Then you create a situation where you repel black men as opposed to pulling them in. Let's take a break. You guys are listening to Fault Lines. Thomas and Abdul. Back in a moment.
Yeah, but they said a lot of the stuff that they said about Kamala Harris and her trying to run, which is the reason I believe that she has no shot. Okay, Tulsi Gabbard destroyed her in like less than a minute by just digging up her own record, which I had read. I don't know exactly where I read it, but that's just something they had put out about her when she was running. I can't remember what paper it was. Okay, and about her time as DA. Okay, district attorney. And it wasn't just she was doing stuff against black men, against black mothers, single black mothers, for whatever reason. So she did some shady shit, okay? And that stuff is going to come back to bite her in the ass, which is the reason I don't think she can win. But the thing is, they have no choice, which is why Obama really doesn't want her to run, because they know that she's vulnerable. But we'll see. We'll have to see at the convention whether they will let her run. I do believe they will, because that's where the money's going to flow and the delegates are going to flow. And they really don't have a backup. They don't have a backup. So it is what it is. Yeah, white adjacent doesn't. Oh, yeah. Well, it doesn't make any sense, economists, unless you are in an American black male. Okay, we know exactly what they're saying. Okay, that's why I played the piece with Sabrina Strings, right, about what black men really want. What did she say? She want them skinny. They want them as close to white as we can get them with straight hair. And she said that multiple times. And this is a woman that teaches black studies and has a PhD. Okay, this is what they believe. They believe that black men want to be "quote unquote" white adjacent. So KMS says Joy Reid is a white adjacent white husband. You know what? There's two guys with that name. So I kept looking at it. Her husband, I do believe her husband is black. Okay. Because I actually saw a family picture. There's another guy that's a film producer, just like he is, and he's white. And And sometimes it'll come up with J.C. Reed, what's it, Joy Reid's husband. But the thing is, her pictures in her family pictures, he's black. He's a black guy, damn near from the same state that went to film school and does the same thing he does with the same name. So I think that's where it comes from. Because trust and believe, if he was, I'd be on it. Okay. So black men are power itself by calling us whites. Well, they've been calling us that for a long time. Edward says, KMS, don't nobody listen to Joy Reid. She's just a mouthpiece. That's why they have her there, and a lot trust of Trump in there will be get no point. The thing is, Joy Reid speaks for a lot of black women. She really does. And it says, mofos, black women are fighting for their lives at this point. I agree with that. Damien King says we not bleach adjacent though. Y'all ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit. She married a non-FBA. You know what, man? Basically, man, I don't even want to hear the FBA talk, man, because it doesn't make any difference. Okay, doesn't make any difference because we have a lot of FBA folks established in the back. Okay, Clarence Thomas, anybody? So, as far as that's concerned, I don't care one way or the other. Okay, if they can run, they can run. Kamala Harris was not a progressive prosecutor. Okay, that's the article. New York Times by Laura Basil. Okay, yeah. She marches to her own drum, and she don't she act like I think Kamala Harris acts a lot like a lot of those gynocrats down in Atlanta. Okay, that throw brothers under the bus down there. Anyhow, y'all, let me get out of here. Let me check for some cash apps just in case we got any. I don't think we did. Oh, we got two. Okay. Electrician 480. Appreciate the cash app. And I think that's it. Okay. All right, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. I may do JD Vance tomorrow. Okay, because we haven't done him. And there was a clip in Forbes where they just went through a bunch of his the responses and speeches he gave while he was in the Senate in the Senate hearing, Senate committee hearings. So in fact, the dude is sharp. I have to give him credit. Dude is sharp. Okay, I had never heard of him, but the thing is, when I heard him speak, he's very sharp. He's tax sharp. So there's a reason he went to Harvard as a single mother, a kid of a single mother. Said Keishas don't want black men to have power because it's payback when we do get it. I don't think it's payback. I think brothers will make different choices. They're afraid of losing us. Damien King, you seen Beyonce bleached her skin. I'm not surprised. Okay, I'm not surprised. Her and Serena Williams. Kelly Rowland started bleaching her skin. To a point. She's not as dark as she used to be. Anyhow, y'all, let's get out of here. Trust you about to see the gynocracy go heavy for the next 3 months. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah. All right, folks, we out. I will see you guys tomorrow. I might do JD Vance tomorrow, unless you guys want me to do some Keisha stuff. Harris for president. I heard that. President of what though? All right, good folks. I will see you guys tomorrow.